So I was at lunch. No, that's not true. I was at breakfast yesterday in the cafeteria at my job. And I was talking to the chef and I was watching her pour the soup for lunchtime into the containers that they used to serve it out of. But she was doing this at breakfast time. And as I watched her do that, I realized that the soup was already made, right? It was 8:50 in the morning, which means that she had to have prepared to make the soup before she made the soup today. So she prepared yesterday in order to make the soup that was going to be served during the day today. Basically, she had to do some preparation in advance in order to make sure that what she needed to be ready by a certain point would have been, it was set up and it was ready for her to go. And as I mentioned this to her, I was like, I was thinking about how much work goes into preparing for meals here. And she said, you can only do but so much preparation, otherwise you'll risk things not being as fresh. And I was like, that's a gem right there. So there are some things in life that we can prepare well in advance for, that we can set up a certain foundation for, that will allow us to do that next thing that we're trying to do. But then there are some things that can only be made or done or prepared for on a moment's notice. So you can't go, basically what she was saying is like, there are certain ingredients that we can't prepare 8 hours in advance. That's something that we can only cut up that day or in that moment right before we're getting ready to cook it or right before it needs to be served, right? You can't prepare sandwiches with tomatoes on it. If any of y'all ever had a packed lunch and had a tomato that was resting on a piece of bread, ooh, that's one of the saddest things. That's soggy bread. And that's because you tried to do something in advance, trying to be helpful, but now you've reduced the product and the benefit of it, right? Because now you got soggy bread. So the point is, what are those things in your life that you are not doing the proper preparation for today? What are those things that you actually have the ability to prepare for and train for and learn about and do that you can start doing right now, as opposed to delaying so that by the time some opportunity shows up at your doorstep, but you ain't been ready for it, you've not been preparing for it? And what are those things that you need to be ready to be able to do in a moment's notice? That you can just, if someone calls you and says, hey, I need you to be on this panel, do you need to, oh, no, I can't do it because I need a week in advance to prepare? Or are you ready to be like, you know what, I'm good, I can handle this, right? So think about the things that you can be doing, the kind of foundation you can be laying right now for what you're trying to do, and start laying that foundation. Start cutting up them onions, put that celery together, cut up the vegetables you're gonna need, prepare that stock, make sure your utensils are in the right place so that when you come into the kitchen tomorrow morning, you can start cooking and making that soup ready for lunchtime. You feel me? Do you feel what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I am putting down? I hope you are. Cause I feel what I'm putting down. All right. That's all I got to say. Be blessed and be a blessing.